Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Martine Talks. And if it's not welcome back and it's your first time, I'm Martine. And today I want to talk about a book that changed my life. Often in my kind of field where self-development is high up there, you often get asked about the books that have kind of inspired you. And I've got many books that have inspired me, but there's one that tops it all, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So we'll do other videos on other books, but just before I kick off, it's I just want to say that this moment, and I think I've shared it before, I kind of had a 180 in this moment, and it's before I got sobriety. So this wasn't my turning point for sobriety, but I believe it led to that, because it just changed my whole perspective and outlook on life, and that's what I needed hugely. So we can find many different areas in our life where we get that light bulb moment if we're looking for it. I believe if we're ready for it and we want it, we can. It might be things that people say to us, it might be a film that we've watched, or it might be an event that's happened, or it might be just people in our lives. It might be a magazine or just anything that kind of gets us to go, wow, okay. And I'm lucky enough to have a few of them. This was my first one. I was kind of living in my alcoholism, abusing alcohol, abusing drugs, and just my life was just sort of in a really dark place. And there was this friend of mine that I used to see quite a lot at that time. I haven't seen him in a long time. But when life just kind of take different directions. But he gave me this book to read. And wow. It's The Road Less Travelled by M. Scott Peck. And I want to put a warning here, just because it's the book that changed my outlook and changed things for me and changed my life doesn't mean it'll be for everyone. And the reason why I say that is, in my training I used to be asked a lot about what book or books, and I'd mention this one and I'd get feedback where people come back and say it's too deep. It's a very philosophical book, and so for me, it might not for others, even though it's got a huge amount of wisdom, and I'm sure it'd impact everybody's life, but for me this was the one. So if you're looking for a how-to, this is not a how-to book, and it is quite deep, but worth the read, I think, if that's the kind of book that you're looking for. But be warned. And very spiritual. And luckily, my experience is that I'd been to Catholic schools, and so the word God, and that didn't frighten me. I wasn't kind of averse to that kind of thing, and spirituality, that kind of thing. So for me, it didn't hit too hard, whereas for some people it's not their thing. So having said that, it was the first paragraph really that kind of just changed everything. And I'm not showing it verbatim here, but it's basically, life is difficult. Once you accept it, you transcend it. Meaning, once we understand that life is meant to be hard, it's meant to be difficult, it's not meant to be everywhere, it's not meant to be smooth and happy and joyous and free at all time, that's not real, that's not the truth. He says this is the greatest truth, that life is difficult, but once we accept it, we transcend it, meaning we can kind of work past that. We kind of don't get stuck in that shit of self-pity, or why is this happening to me, all that stuff that's futile. It's absolutely pointless. That's where I was in my life. I kind of had a lot of self-pity. It was all about me, and I was kind of at that place where everything that had happened to me, it was like I'd put it in a bag and I was carrying it around with me, going, this is the shit, this has happened to me, this has happened to me, this has happened to me, and weighing heavy on me, on my psyche, on my life, and just bringing me down, really. But I didn't understand that, of course. You don't, when we're in it, we don't see it like that. So I was in this negative place. And like I say, abusing drugs, abusing drink, feeling sorry for myself, collecting all this shit and carrying it around with me, almost like a badge of honour. This is why I drink, this is why I use drugs. And even though I didn't say That I know that's how I felt. And so it lifted so much stuff, so much of that heavy stuff that I was carrying around. It was almost permission to say, okay, so life is meant to be difficult. Once I got that, I just felt so much better and so much lighter. And I believe that's what got me to the rooms of recovery earlier. It wasn't straight away. That just wasn't my path. But I was seeing things differently. And I suddenly had this understanding that, you know, I can sit in this shit if I want and feel sorry for myself. Or I can start looking outwards and open up and kind of see the good stuff. And I wasn't ready to have that change that recovery meant, you know, kind of the 12-step program is what then I really had to dig deep and have a look at all of that stuff. This just gave me a new outlook, and it was the start. It was like the kind of it was like the catalyst. It was like the catalyst that happened to change the direction, trajectory of my life. It gave me so much. It gave me so much freedom. And so there, it's kind of when I got into recovery, I sort of understood that I was called more teachable, if you like. We say that in the rooms. It's like you have to be more open and teachable, and I was. Instead of me feeling sorry for myself and not wanting to listen, I might have run. I don't think if I had had that kind of change in perspective that I'd have been so open to it. Not at that point anyway. So it was just mad how that happened, and I'm so grateful today. I'm so grateful for that book. It's so full of wisdom. I must get back to reading it because I need wisdom in my life. I think, like I've shared before, my default isn't to look after me, and my default isn't to kind of see the good stuff. My default is to look at the stuff and the suffering and that kind of thing. And I think that's part of the human condition as well. And I think it lends itself to the Buddha teachings as well, isn't it? Where we're kind of suffering as of our own making. Like we suffer once and then we kind of double up on it because we sit and, you know, sort of rely on that shit and keep kind of feeling sorry for ourselves and stirring it up and focusing on it. And I know today what I focus on is kind of how I'm going to feel for the day and kind of what I get back. What I put in is what I get back. And I've learned to start my day thinking about all the good things, you know, sort of if it's not a gratitude list, it's just kind of going, yeah, I've got so much to be grateful for. I'm fucking lucky. I'm really fucking lucky. Doesn't mean I have life easy, and none of us do, I don't think. But I'm lucky in that I can see that stuff. And through my recovery, and I've been able to focus on the little stuff. I remember one of my friends saying to me, Cor, you're really grateful for the little things, aren't you? And I thought, how lucky am I, right? That it doesn't take much to lift my spirits and for me to see things in a really good way. And also I believe, like I said, what we put in, we get back. So if I put in the good stuff, then I'm going to get the good stuff back. If I do the right things happen. It's just what I believe. And it's been, you know, the evidence is there for me. Every time I make a change and every time I up my game, it's what I get back. And I'm feeling inspired again. Like I said, I'd been kind of unwell, but I'm feeling well again now. And I'm kind of feeling that, them butterflies in my belly and excitement, inspired. And I can't run away with that though. Like I said, my settings before 0 or 100, no in between. Well, there is in between if I really force it. And if I'm going 100 miles an hour, I've got to be aware of that. It's not good for me. So when I get excited and I get well, I can then go, oh, I'm ready for this. Well, hold up. Let's slow down, love. Get some grounding, get some balance. And that's what I do. So look, there's loads of other books that I can talk about, and I will, and share that have had an impact on my life. Not quite like this book. This book is up there, top of the list. Forever, I can't say forever, never say never. There might be another book that blows my mind, but we'll see about that. I'll just keep reading and studying and learning. That's good for me. Let's fill up that tank of wisdom, and, you know, along with that gratitude, that tank of gratitude. But yep, so if you could comment on what books changed your life or that have had an impact on your life, that would be great. And I will come back with some other books, maybe a list of 5 or my top 5 or top 10 maybe, to share that stuff with you. But thanks for coming back. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and share and comment. That would be great. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Mwah.